Let's talk about how to get product. Where are we going to get product to sell? So let's just go back to the basic and get through the first two videos that I already did. And so we're in the asset recovery business, which is a fancy word for liquidation. So we're trying to buy things for 50 cents on the dollar, 30 cents on the dollar, 25 cents on the dollar. What does that mean? That means if something like a comic book is selling for $3, we want to buy it for $1.50. If something's selling for $5, we want to sell it for $2.50. I'm going to use comic books today as an example as to where to get product. So if you want to say, ask what this video is about, it's about where are we going to get product. We need something to sell. And we don't want to sell inline product. What's inline product? Inline product means you go to a distributor like Ingram Micro and you set up an account with them and you drop ship stuff or you buy stuff from them direct. There's no money in inline product, which means current product. You got to go and you got to find things that are undervalued. Well, I don't want to do that because it's too much work. But you don't make any money. You just won't make any money. It's just simple. I'm sorry. I wish it was an easier way. So one of the ways we find product is, and that I look for product is, let's say we're going to use comic books as an example. I love comic books. Or it could be baseball cards. It could be coins. So you got three big items. I'm not saying that you should do this. I'm in computers and mostly tablets and phones and related accessories. Related accessories would be keyboards, adapters, things like that. So I need to get my product through a different type of source. My source primarily is recycling companies. Companies that take the technology from places like Harvard University or Princeton or University of California, Berkeley, or University of Texas, and they filter it through their own system in order to replace their technology. So let's say they have 500 Apple MacBooks. I spotted a bunch of those yesterday. They need to send it to what's called a certified recycling company or an e-cycler that's R2 certified. Why? Because they have to trust somebody that'll clean all the data. So let's say the principal of, the University of Iowa was looking at porn and it got stuck on his hard drive. Well, the university professor doesn't want to see that he's, looking at porn. Okay, so it's got to be erased. All the stuff that's on there that these people that have when they come off, or leasing companies. So Dell Lease, Lenovo Lease, all these giant leasing companies. I talk to these people. You can go ahead and try to get through to them, but it takes a little effort. We'll talk about how to do that. So let's say you don't want to crack, a $1 billion company and get product from one of those companies. You can always go to Google, which is the #1 search engine in the world, and a monopoly. And let's say I'm looking for comic books. So this is how you find product. Yes, all you have to do is, and I've already done it on the other screen over here. I'm going to put in comic book lots, eBay. Or you could put Amazon lots. The keyword is lots, L-O-T-S, okay? And then when you put that into your computer, and here's vintage comic book lot for sale. And what's the first position? eBay. Remember we talked about first, second, and third position? And then when you go to vintage comic book lots, it gives you there's hundreds of lots on comic books. I could change the word comic book lots to baseball cards. So let's put in baseball cards, baseball cards, and of course we're in Google. We're doing a Google search. And if you put in baseball cards lots eBay, you get a whole list, Topps baseball cards lots for sale. So if you're looking for product, you could put anything in the Google search, because why? That's what the Google search is for. Duh. Google search is for searching for shit. All right. Say you want to buy wholesale lots of Michael Jordan shoes. So let's just go to Google again. This is not rocket science, guys. And let's put in, I'm sorry, but it's just not. We want to put Nike Air Jordan, as in Michael Jordan, the airness, lots. Boom. Nike Air Jordan lots on eBay. Well, why are you telling me lots on eBay? I don't want to buy. No, because eBay sells a lot of lots. So you could open up your own eBay account just for purchasing. Do you get that? So let's go through the step-by-step on how to get stuff. If you're searching for stuff, you want to use the #1 search engine in the world, which is the only search engine as far as I'm concerned. You could use Bing or these other goofballs, but you really want to use the Google search. And that's how you find stuff. And you want to use the word lots. You may not find the lots you're looking for, but that's a damn good place to start. Okay, so you want to look for Nike Air Jordan lots on eBay, for example, or Nike Air Jordan lots on Amazon. And then what it'll do is it'll pull up all the shoe lots. And there's not only athletic shoe lots, there's all kinds of lots on here, but there'll be other shoe lots as well. Or one of my favorites, you ready for this one? Coins. Coins is a huge category. I'd love to be in coins. I just make a lot of money in used technology, so it's kind of hard for me. So we're going to put coin lots. Now you have to be specific. Let's say you're looking for American coin lots, because if you put up coin lots, it's going to bring up stuff from Bolivia. You want to be very, very specific and narrow it down once you determine where you want to be. And how do you determine where you want to be? Go back to the other videos. You want to start selling stuff that you have. Like I still have some silver coins I bought like 5 years ago. So I'd have to go look and see what the valuations are. So first you want to put in what you're looking for, and you want to use the word lots because you want to buy a quantity of stuff if you can. Let's say you want to go to eBay and Amazon. That's where it leads you, but it may lead you to non-eBay and Amazon places to find stuff. You can find stuff almost anywhere, but you got to go through your search. So the more specific you are in your search, the more opportunities that you'll find out there. You want to be in antique furniture. You want to be in old book lots. So that's all we have to do is go to, how about vintage watches? Yeah, baby. I love vintage watches. Vintage watches lots, or vintage watch lots on eBay. So I want to be in the watch business. There's a lot of guys make a ton of money in watches, Rolex watches. You start small. Look at that, a 1918 antique Rolex on eBay. Looks beautiful. $2,995. A little too much for me. Or a huge lot of vintage watches. You could buy them for like $25. If you don't want to buy them for $25, you can buy them for $10. Now, why do people sell lots on eBay and Amazon? This is important. You got to put that at the bottom of the screen. A lot of people want to be in the wholesale business. I'm basically a wholesaler, but I got into the retail business. My wife talked me into selling. So now I have over 30,000 retail customers all over the country. I don't do outside the country. That's another thing. You can go outside the country, but that's for another discussion. I'll make a note of that. Let's outside the USA if you want. I don't go outside the USA for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is I don't want the stuff back from Germany. Who knows what it's going to look like when it comes back. Wholesale wristwatches for sale on eBay. So that's where you start the process. This guy's got like tons of stuff. Well, how do we know that they're, why are they selling these lots? A lot of people don't want to sell one at a time. It's a pain in the ass. So how do we find product? Let's go back to the process of beginning because it prices well below the market value. So let's say you go in and you find a lot of stuff, lots, and the guy lists 30 items on the lot. You have to go through each item and find out what the hell the thing's really worth. Because then you have to break it down. Well, that takes work. Yeah, anything you want to make money, if you want to create a business, it's going to last over time. It takes some effort to do it. You can't just do it. It takes effort to do these things. What the heck do you think is going on here? Everything takes time, especially if you want to build a real business over time. It takes time to do that. Do you get that? All these guys on YouTube that are telling you all this crap about how you can make millions of dollars. And I think Grant Cardone says, well, you're already a billionaire. No, you're not. You're not going to be a billionaire. Forget about that shit. He's lying. A lot of these guys just lie to you just to get you to buy shit from them. It's so bullshit. You're going to build a business over time. Well, this looks like a good one. Lot of 11 vintage mechanical watches. 4 parts. Now, don't kid yourself about the part business. I bought and sold millions of dollars worth of product that's not working. So let's go through the categories and let's. This is all turning into a jumble. Let's start from the beginning. If you're looking for product, you want to go to the number one search engine is Google. You want to put in what you're looking for. Calvin Klein jean lots, vintage watches lots. You want to chunk it down to a specific niche on. Just put in Rolex watch lots. Pre-1950. And the search engine will pull up anybody and everybody that has a lot of this stuff that you're looking for because you want to buy product in quantity, but you want to get them 50% below market value. So that's number 2. After you get your lots in there, you want to go and look at each item in the lot or get a general feel for the lot and say, wow, this lot he's selling for $500. I know I can get $1,500 if I break the lot down. So number 2, you have to look at your market values. Where do you look at market values? eBay and Amazon. Come on, dude. You can't make any money buying what I call inline product because there's no money in inline product. Inline product means you're buying something new and you're selling it new. Drop shippers love that crap. Why? Because they don't have to put any money up, but there's no money in it. You might as well develop a business that's going to happen over time. Then all of a sudden you're walking down the street and that's all you can do is see value. You look at the house and say, holy crap, that house is selling for $500. Well, the other one's selling for $550. Maybe I can get it down to $400. That's your 25-30% off of that market value. Real estate's a little different because you got to get an appraisal because it's a little different and more involved. Same thing with automobiles. So automobiles and cars, you have to really do your homework, especially cars. I bought Audis and got screwed on old Audis. I had a mechanic, but he made a mistake. So when you have an expert, an authority on something, be careful. And don't trust anybody on YouTube. They're all full of crap. Why? Because they're trying to sell you crap. Don't even believe me. It's not about believing. It's about trying it out. If you try something out and it works, then you're on the right track. So that's number 2. Number 1, use the search engine and go to what you're looking for. Let's say watches. And put in lots, L-O-T-S. You can put in wholesale lots if you want to, but that's number 2. You want to look at the lot. You want to break the lot down. So you have to look at market value. What is this watch worth? It's worth $10. Wow, when I figure out my lot, I'm only going to end up paying $2 for it. Does that make sense? Then you want to buy the lot. They're not going to give it to you for consignment, but the concept is the thing that we're looking at right now. Then you bring the lot in and you break it down. That's number 3. You buy it and you break it down, and then you have to take pictures of each item, and then you sell it. The goal is to get your money out of the transaction. So let's say you spend $500 and the lot's really worth $1,200 when you go and list them individually. You want to get that $500 back as fast as you can. Then you're playing with house money. Same thing with gambling. I used to live in Las Vegas. So gamblers would come in with $10,000. All right, they'd roll it up to $20,000. Not often, but sometimes they would. They take the $10,000 off the table and they put it in their pocket, assuming they weren't degenerate gamblers. There's most of my buddies who would come in. I lived in Las Vegas, so I wasn't a gambler because I was too smart to be a gambler. I knew you couldn't win because I knew all the people working at casinos. And you end up playing with the $10,000 of their money. One guy came to me with Bitcoins. He had like $125,000 in Bitcoins. He says, Mike, what do you think? I says, well, what I would do is you have $125,000 invested. It's up to $250. Take your $125,000 in cash and put it in your pocket and play with the house money. Okay, so that's number 3 or number 4. Play with the house money. Play with the money that's in the inventory. Get your cash out of the transaction as fast as you can. So that's number 3. You get that? It's relatively basic stuff. Now, number 4, why do people fail? Well, if you look at the other video, I talk about that. I have a video that says, why do you fail? Why all these guys fail in business? The reason why the people fail in business is because they get into the wrong business. That's 42% of the time. They want to open up a sandwich shop next door to 5 guys that make hamburgers or a McDonald's, or they want to open it up next to a Subway. There may be one Subway and all these other sandwich shops that have 10 locations or 500 locations, and they decide, well, we have the best mozzarella sandwich with meatball and mozzarella sandwich around. So they're in the wrong market. They don't get it. Or they always had a dream to open up a handbag shop when you could buy any handbag you want online. Or they have a dream that they want to manufacture handbags in Mexico, because I had a guy that said he wanted to do that, and bring the handbags in. They're going to compete against Coach or Louis Vuitton. The richest man in the world right now is the guy that owns Louis Vuitton. Arnaud, I think his name. Put him up on the screen. The guy that owns Louis Vuitton. He owns all the major brand names in the world. You get it? So the purpose of this video is, where do you find stuff to buy? I believe the best places to find stuff to buy is stuff that you search around for in your areas. So I like to stay local to keep the freight down. The reason why you want to use eBay and Amazon, and this is number 5, is because eBay and Amazon platforms protect you against fraud, against getting cheated. Does that make sense? So you don't want to be cheated, because if you buy off the street and you wire transfer guys money, I happen to wire transfer money. I don't buy through eBay and Amazon. I buy direct from people that I've sourced. So you have to do the sourcing and the searching yourself. So we use platforms to protect ourselves. Now, let's say you buy outside the eBay platform and you found a great deal, and you're in Los Angeles, and this guy's in Columbus, Ohio. I have people I do business with in Columbus, Chicago, Illinois. And you don't know the guy, but you do the research. He looks like a good guy. Say, yeah, okay, I think I'll buy the product. You don't wire transfer the money to anybody ever, not the first time around. I may do it because I've been doing it for 40 years, so I have kind of a feel as to who's real and who isn't real. Because I just wired transfer like 35, 40 grand last month. You want to use PayPal. Why do you want to use PayPal? Because PayPal will protect you. So say you order 500 Surface Pro 3s or 4s or whatever you're buying, 500 Air Jordans or 500 watches or comic books, 10,000, whatever you're buying. And you use PayPal and the stuff comes in and it's not what the guy described. You can go ahead and just say, hey, I'm returning the product. As soon as you return the product on PayPal, PayPal will give you the money back as soon as you prove that it's landed. So you want to go through platforms like eBay and Amazon or go through the PayPal platform and tell the guy, hey, I want to pay through PayPal. Now, the seller's going to tell you, well, you got to pay 3%. Well, you can negotiate that. Say, well, I don't know you, you don't me, so let's split it 1.5%. That's not big money. Okay, so you're spending $1,000. 2% is what? $20, right? Yeah, 2%. So say I'll give you $15, or we'll split it. It's $30, 3%. If you're going to use PayPal, PayPal's a great thing. You can check one of my videos out. We'll show you how to find my videos on using PayPal and other fintech companies. That's a whole different discussion. So this discussion is about where to get the product. And this is, I think, in a series of 3 so far. So the first video is on how you open up your business. The second business video is how you increase your lines with these e-commerce stores. And this video is about where the hell you get the product. Okay? And let me give you another example. This is a beautiful example of not going through the normal channels. This is not a contradiction of what I've already told you in this video. Legoland is 1 mile from where I live. Carlsbad, California. Legoland. So what do? I go to Legoland. I've been to Legoland 100 times. I have it on my Instagram. mikeaddis 2020. Look at my Instagram. Scroll down. I got art and Legoland videos when I'm at Legoland. So I go into the Legoland store. This is to look for product because I walk through the Legoland store. Like during the course of the last 12 months, I've been through the Legoland store 100 times because they filter you through the Legoland store. It's like a casino. When I lived in Las Vegas, you couldn't get the restroom in the front of the building. You had to walk all the way to the back of the building. Why? They want you to go and play slots on the way through and gamble. There's no restrooms in the beginning of a casino. You can't just walk in a casino and take a pee. You have to go all the way to the back. Why? Because they want you to spend the money. Same thing with Legoland. They'd filter you through the store. So I'm in the store and I asked the lady there, I say, hey, let me ask you a question. Don't forget, I'm looking for product, right? Looking at ideas. Always looking for ideas all the time. You'll be like this too. You become obsessed looking for stuff. He says, what are your top 5 best-selling units? She goes, well, I have a wall here, the top 10. I says, no shit, really? She goes, yeah, it's right over here. So I'm in there. I'm clicking pictures, taking close-up photos of all the stuff that she has. In Legoland, I can go down the street and buy it. Retail. And they always have sales. So I take the Legoland stuff that's very, very hot, and I go to eBay, and I find out some things are, you have to pay $150 for Legoland. They're selling it for $250. Really? Yeah, no shit. There's a lot of stuff out there. If you just focus in and get into this game of buying things below the value. Well, Legoland isn't dumping anything, but they do have sales from time to time. So go in there and make friends with the lady over there. There's a couple of sales ladies. I see them all the time because I live down the street. Same thing with the Topps baseball example I gave you. I haven't gone to Topps yet. I will be visiting them soon. Because even though I'm in the technology business and I primarily buy and sell used technologies because I got into that. And the reason why I'm in used technology primarily is because you have to bring the stuff in, you have to check it, turn it on, clean it. Limited people are involved in that because it takes an effort. Anything that takes an effort, usually not as much competition, right? Because people don't want to work. 9 out of 10 people work for somebody. They don't work for themselves, right? Does that make sense? So a perfect example is Legoland down the street. I go into the Legoland store. I click off 10 pictures of their top selling stuff. Because what better place is that Legoland's now open. COVID's over. I mean, not over, but June 1st. Today's June 2nd, 2021. You go to Legoland, it's jammed. It's closed on Tuesday and Wednesday. Only the people that are staying at the hotels. And the hotels are booked. I can drive by and look in the parking lot and say there's 50 million people there. So this Thursday, I'll take one of my sons. who's 9 years old. I'm going to take him to Legoland. I'm going to go in the Legoland store, and I'm going to ask her, I say, what do you got on sale that's coming up? I'm looking to buy things at 50% below the market value. Then I can go look right online on my phone and see what the stuff is selling on eBay. And the beauty is I can get the exact model number and everything. Because when you're looking at stuff to buy, you want to make sure you're comparing apples with apples. You want to get the wrong model number and pay something more than what it's worth, and you go find out as you made a mistake. You don't want to do that. You have to be very accurate. So that's a perfect example. The Legoland example is a great example of where I can go and actually buy stuff. I may not get it at 50 cents on the dollar, but I may find a very, very highly demand item that no one hardly ever has. Like I think they had the Legoland Ferrari model, or the Batmobile. I think that was another big one. This was a few months ago. I don't remember now what's going on currently, what's hot. Or the new caps just came out, but no one has them. So you want to look where there's a demand, and you want to be able to buy the product at or below the value, because sometimes things are selling like cars. They add on $10,000 onto the sticker, especially when a new car comes out, like the Ford Bronco. There may be such a large demand on that Bronco. I'm not saying go out and buy Ford Broncos. I'm just giving you an example. So the dealer adds another 10 grand on it. You could buy stuff just below retail and then resell it because the demand is so huge and the supply doesn't exist, and there's your profit margin. So hunt around in your area and you're going to find stuff that you're looking for. It's another little tip. The other thing you have to remember is this is important. I mean, I can't emphasize this anymore than I'm emphasizing it. I'm kind of overemphasize things, but sometimes I have to. Not only for you, but for me. Everything is based on supply and demand. You get that? So let's say in this examples I've given you today, you want to do a Google search and you want to look at lots that are selling on eBay. Well, there's a lot of other guys that are doing it. So what do I do? Well, since there's a lot of people looking for similar things that you're looking for, you have to go outside the normal places to get stuff. A lot of people like to go to auctions. Why? B-Stock Supply is a place where people like to go to look for auctions. Well, when you go to auctions, there's a large group of people bidding on the same auction. Do you get that? So if it's really easier to do, there's less money in it. That's the fact of supply and demand. Assuming there's any demand for the product, which products that we're dealing with, there are demands for it. You just have to find what you like by selling your stuff and getting some ideas. Some people just want to do books and videos. People still buy DVDs, because a lot of stuff you can't get everything on Netflix. They have like a little sesame seed. So they want to buy the video. They have the video in-house. I still have a lot of videos that I use. You can't get the stuff on Netflix, so the kids want to watch certain things. You get that? So the easier it is to do something, the less money there's in it. Does that make sense? That's very, very important in anything and everything that you do. So if I can easily Google something and come up with a major platform like eBay and Amazon, I'm not contradicting what I said, but this is a good place to start because I'm not changing what I said. I'm just saying if you can go and look for companies that make the comic books or the baseball cards. I'm in Carlsbad, California. I think the headquarters for Topps is down the street. Now, I've called those suckers like 10 times. You think the sales rep would call me back? No. Why? Well, that was kind of during COVID. Well, it was actually before COVID. So I can just go down the street and knock on the door of the headquarters of Topps Baseball Cards, which is the manufacturer of Topps, and say, hey, I live here. I want to buy stuff from you in wholesale lots. What do you got you want to dump? Make sense? When I was in Texas, I went to the University of Texas when I lived in Austin. And I called up the university. Hey, where do I get stuff? Call Joe over at the warehouse. That wasn't done on a Google search. That was done from my own efforts. So when I did that, there was nobody I was competing against. University of Texas actually had auctions, but you get the point. So my other example I gave of Armando, or when I bought 50,000 pairs of Vans shoes, someone called me up and says, hey, Vans is dumping a bunch of product. They're in financial trouble. That was a few years ago. So I called them up and I ended up buying 50,000 pairs of shoes for $10. They were Vans deck shoes. They were doing away with the line. And I combined with somebody that had the money, Roy, I told you, and then we sold it to Costco. We made $2 on 50,000 pairs. We split 50 grand each. It took us just a few days to do it. That was from the initiative of someone giving me the idea, but I went direct to the source. So you can't go to Rolex if you want to be in watches because they're not going to sell you anything. You have to be a dealer. But you could go to Rolex used dealers, new and used dealers in your market that are suffering and need some cash, assuming you have cash to spend. They may want to get rid of some pieces that they don't want. It just takes effort. You have to do research. It's just like all these guys on YouTube are slinging crap to you all day long, trying to make you think that you could just make a barrel of money by doing little to no work. It's not going to happen. You're not going to make any money doing it. You have to build a business over time, one brick at a time. Then after you get going, you build up relationships. I did business with a company called Arrow Electronics. They closed the division down where I was buying all this stuff. They got out of the business, but I was buying millions of dollars from them for years. Going back 30 years, I was buying from Arrow Electronics. Mostly used computers, and then I niched it down to tablets. So in the beginning, you got to buy a lot of stuff, take the cream of what you want out of what it is that you're purchasing, get your money out of the transaction. You get it? And the more you go direct to people to get stuff, like my example I just gave you on Tops, which is down the street, I'm still thinking about because I love baseball cards, I used to buy lots of baseball cards. When I was a kid, we back in Boston, we trade cards. We're gambling all day long. If you're from Boston or any of these major cities, you're always gambling for cards. We would be playing colors or initials, and if you imagine initial, their stacks would be this high of baseball cards. All kids back then. Now they just buy them and trade them. Back then we would gamble. We were more interested in gambling than we were collecting the stupid baseball cards. I didn't care about baseball cards. I just wanted to go and gamble every day. I was like 6 years old or 7 years old. I had a stack of baseball cards. All the kids would bring baseball cards to school, and the nuns would be out there watching. Even the nuns would sit down on the curb. We'd sit on the curb in the schoolyard back at St. Mark's back in Dorchester, Massachusetts, and we would be gambling baseball cards. You had to match up the initials. So if the guy's initial to the first name was J and the other guy put down the J, he won the stack. B, C, we'd be calling off the letters, the first name, and the stack would get to be this high. You get that? And then if he put down J and then I put down J, I won the stack. Gambling. We'd flip the cards against the wall. We had all kinds of methods of gambling back then. And the nuns would be out there in their black robes with their rosary beads on, and they'd be sitting down gambling too. And they would usually win. They were beating up elementary school kids gambling cards. Those were the fun days back in the old days. Did you get that? Don't forget to check the links below. I'm going to give you some links below as to how to get more information, like free books. I have free books. How to look at my blog. I'm going to send you the link below on how to find the blog, how you can sign up and get my newsletter if you want. We can get the newsletter. And most importantly, on any of these YouTube videos that I'm doing, because YouTube video is what I call a funnel, trying to get you to come to my site so you can learn more about what I'm doing. And the ultimate goal here is to put together a group of like-minded people that are out there trying to buy things in the form of asset recovery, or you could call it liquidation, so you could buy the product and then resell it for a profit, because I am a trader, and that's my primary line of business. So I'm a trader. I buy and sell stuff. Doesn't matter what the hell it is. Could be real estate or whatever. Mike Addis. Thanks for joining me on this video. I hope you got something out of this one. This is a good one. I actually like it. See you on the next video.